Gonna be honest with you, probably not. Yeah, Xbox is kind of in a weird place right now. There are a lot of rumors hitting the rumor mill, and that's something that we need to take into consideration. It's not just that there's rumors, but if we look at the trajectory as well as a lot of the different things that we've seen over the past couple of years, I think it's clear that Xbox is in a weird transition period. And I can relate because Xbox seems as certain of what they want to do as I do here on this channel. And I'm very self-aware that we've been all over the place, but today I've been keeping pretty close to what's going on with the whole Xbox situation, and it's weird. I asked a question about, do I think, or you guys, I said, do you guys think that Xbox bringing some of these big games over to PlayStation is a good or bad thing? And I've seen everything in between. People in the the poll comment section did explain some of their thoughts on it all, and made sense, right? They said bringing games like this over to PlayStation just means more people get to play the games, which is correct. That is a very, very good thing. But then I see some interesting ones, like bringing these games over to PlayStation makes me, someone who just purchased the Series X, not me personally, but me, the person in the comments, feel like I just wasted my money. Now, I certainly can understand the sentiment, especially because people, spend their good hard-earned cash on these consoles to experience some sort of exclusivity, I suppose. But it seems that Xbox doesn't look like the future has exclusivity in it. That didn't make any sense, but whatever. It looks like a lot of the future that we're looking into, a lot of the different stuff that Xbox plans on doing is more about some of the services and getting these services everywhere and anywhere in between. And that the whole idea of having an exclusive gaming situation isn't necessarily the priority. I mean, we've seen that over the past couple of years. They haven't been releasing these big, huge, ginormous titles like we thought they were going to. And of the titles that they did release, they weren't quite what we expected them to be. Sure, there are plenty of people that enjoyed Starfield. I was gonna say Fortnite. Starfield, but Redfall fell flat, it fell. And the other consoles aren't necessarily void of bad decision making when it comes to what they're doing with their consoles. I mean, Nintendo, it seems like what they're going to be doing is leaving the Switch as their primary console here for the remainder of the year. Great, whatever. But when it comes to Xbox, the rumors and some of the things that are happening are pretty worrisome to some, and for me, I think that as someone who recommended purchasing an Xbox for such a long time, maybe we pump the brakes. I don't think that having an Xbox is bad, not by any stretch of the imagination. I just think that if you're looking to purchase a console right now, specifically a gaming console, with the expectation of playing the most amount of games possible, it seems that Xbox isn't going to grant you anything more than access to games with Game Pass, if that's something you're into. And if games with Game Pass is something you're into, then sure, that might be the right play for you. But one of the best moves that Xbox ever did, or Microsoft ever did, was create the Xbox Series S. And one of the most dangerous and quite the most detrimental moves that they ever made was make the Xbox Series S. The Xbox Series S single-handedly introduced me to a lot of games on Xbox, and also with the same hand completely destroyed any sort of future for Xbox. Because what the Series S proved was that people are more interested in the digital access to games than they are in the physical access to high fidelity games. And that's what's crazy, is the Series S made its way into homes of PlayStation users, Nintendo users, and Xbox users. Also, it came at a time where it was very difficult to get a Series X to begin with, but the Series S really was one of the greatest and worst things that Microsoft could have done. And now we're sitting here with a future that looks like the Series S or anything like it is really going to be the priority, and some of these big exclusive titles that people are looking to enjoy are going to be available regardless, wherever you want, regardless of what you have. That seems wild to me. And I'm not mad about it, not in the slightest. I have a PlayStation 5. I have a Nintendo Switch OLED. I have a Steam Deck. I have a mini PC that can play some PC games. And so for me, it doesn't really matter if Microsoft brings these games over to these different consoles, because I personally benefit from it regardless. But if you're like, man, I just want to get one console to play the most amount of games possible, and you're okay with paying for games, because really that's what it comes down to. All that Xbox has to offer, or will have to offer at this point, is day one releases of some big titles on their Game Pass service, and, well, maybe some exclusives, but it doesn't seem like they're holding on to their exclusives too dearly. We have a 50-gram difference versus a 60-gram difference of the last one. So I like that. 50 grams. 50 grams of lost coffee. What is that? 400? It's like, what, 12%? We have a 88% extraction rate. That's not bad, right? 12% of 50, 12 times... No, it's like 15%. 15%. Hey, 85% extraction. Not mad about it. Let's figure out what cup to use. We need to get a D8. 1, 2 green, 3, 4 blue, 5, 6 amber, and 7, 8 black. All right, let's roll for it. 7. Black cup. Well. Oh, is there a hair in there? There is. There's a cat hair in there. That's kind of gross. All right, we should be good now. So, when it looks to picking something up, you have really two options. You have sticking with gaming PCs, because that seems to be the big push. Something like the Lenovo Legion Go or even the Steam Deck is also a really great option, because you have stuff like Final Fantasy Reunion, which is Crisis Core. That's not what I meant to say. I meant Final Fantasy Rebirth. There was something funny in that 18 or 19 minutes demo, or what exclusive presentation, where at the very end it says exclusively on PlayStation 5 with an asterisk next to it. And if you looked at the fine text, it said only until 5/29, or at least until 5/29, which is interesting because I think that it's coming over to PC. I think PlayStation is getting hip with it and understanding that stuff like the Legion Go and the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally are huge competitors, massive competitors, and it would be in their best interest to release these games on PC so that these consoles or these PCs can get a hold of the game and get it into the houses and the gamers' hands. That's the biggest thing that's happening right now. We see these huge pushes for PC gaming because I think that the portable PC market is changing the demand. I know that I certainly am more excited about playing a game like Crisis Core on my Steam Deck than I am on my PlayStation 5. And that's mainly because I have the ability to play it anywhere I want, whenever I want, versus having to sit at my desk or sit at the TV. And so, Xbox, the big thing that people are complaining about is like, just got this Xbox. Now what's the purpose of me having this Xbox? Well, there's a few things. One, you still have a gaming console that you can play video games on. You can still play your whatever. You can purchase games, you can do all that stuff. You still have a gaming console. Xbox isn't just good for playing Halo and Gears of War. There are other games available on it. But if you're looking to get the best of all the worlds, maybe for the first time ever, I would say get a PlayStation. Because if it's confirmed, I say don't do anything yet. Wait till Xbox comes out with their statement or Microsoft comes out with their statement, because that's really going to tell you what's going to happen. If these titles are coming to PlayStation, if these titles are coming to PC, if these titles are going anywhere and everywhere in between, then maybe you get ahead of the curve. Maybe you get a console that has access to more games, right? So let's say they come to PlayStation, right? You get yourself a PS5, and with the PS5, you have access to games like, Horizon Forbidden West, Ratchet and Clank, which are all available on PC, but also you can say the same for Xbox games. Starfield comes over there. The Indiana Jones game comes over there. Sea of Thieves comes over there. We see these titles come over there. Maybe even Halo, Gears of War potentially at some point. You just have access to all of them. Maybe it's through Game Pass. Maybe Game Pass exists for Xbox users, and it's always going to be an included service with Xbox. You just pay the whatever a month to play those games, but over on PlayStation, you have to purchase the games. Whatever you want to do, you do. Game Pass ends up being a service that is more worth it to you to use than you get an Xbox. But if Game Pass doesn't hold the value, and the value for you is in the games individually rather than the games as a catalog, then maybe PlayStation, right? This is with the assumption that they're bringing these games over to PlayStation. I certainly don't know, and I think we wait and pump the brakes before we make any major decisions. But that being said, I think that now is the worst time to buy an Xbox console. And that is only because of the ambiguity and uncertainty that exists in that console. Do I think that all of a sudden they're going to come out in the next couple of weeks and say, we're no longer going to have an Xbox? See ya. No, if they did that, that would be crazy. That would be like a decision that I would make for my channel. But what I am expecting is some sort of roadmap or clarity on what the decisions are going to be, right? Whether it is new hardware, a portable one, which would be silly, I think, for Xbox to make a portable unit. I think it would be far greater for them to actually nail down their cloud service as well as their Game Pass service and get that over to Asus and MSI and Lenovo, even Steam. I think that's the best option. If they came out and said, we're getting Game Pass on a Steam Deck, we are partnering with Steam to allow them to use Game Pass, or whatever it may be, that would be phenomenal. It would be far greater to allow the companies that make hardware to continue making that hardware. Sure, Microsoft makes hardware, they make all these different computers, but they're a software company. And so let them make the software and nail that down and allow the hardware to be made with the hardware manufacturers. That might be the better way of going about it. Because I know that we don't need a fifth handheld. We're fine. We need stuff to run well on the handheld. That's what we're looking for as gamers. And so I believe strongly that right now is the worst time to buy a Switch, a Xbox, actually those two. The Nintendo Switch is an incredible console and we have some good games coming out, but if you haven't gotten a Switch yet, maybe wait. Unless you really want to play Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door and stuff like that, it's fine. You missed the boat a little bit. You can go out and get one secondhand to catch up. But honestly, where we're at in 2024, the consoles I would put all of my money in, and right now it's the only place I am placing my money, is something like a Steam Deck and a PlayStation. Those two consoles are going to offer you the longest lasting game catalog if you're new to it. If you already have the consoles themselves, you're fine. But the two that are probably the worst to get here in 2024 is an Xbox and a Nintendo Switch. And the Nintendo Switch is my absolute favorite, but I'm not going to sit here and try to milk that and say, this is the best time to buy. It's not the best time to buy. It isn't. We have 4 games coming out that we know of. Princess Peach's Stage Showdown, whatever that's called, I don't know, which is going to be fun for my daughter. Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. If that is a game you want to play, that's a very good game. There is going to be Mario vs. Donkey Kong, which is a puzzle game. Again, fun, but not a console seller. And we have the Luigi's Mansion remake. Again, fun, but not a console seller. So the Nintendo Switch itself, sure, it has games that are already out, like Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Kart, 800 and, you know, everything in between. There are plenty of games to play, and my tune was, you should hop on board and get after it. But maybe, just maybe, we take a step back. Because if you're a diehard Nintendo fan, you already own a Switch, and if you're like, I don't know, should I get one, should I not? I'd say maybe not. Because those two companies, Xbox and Nintendo, are in a weird spot. Nintendo is at the end of the life cycle. We don't know what's going to happen. We need some sort of presentation to let us know what the trajectory is. And Xbox is in a very weird spot. Certainly not inspiring confidence for their user base. Again, it's a piece of hardware that still works. If I owned an Xbox right now, well, Series X, I have a Series S. If I owned an Xbox Series X, the only disappointment that I would feel is if I purchased it for games such as exclusive games, exclusivity down the pike, because I have faith that they're gonna use their partnership with Bethesda or Activision Blizzard to give me exclusive titles, and was weighing that up against some titles I wanted to play that were only available on PlayStation. Then I would feel disappointed. But if you already did the back and forth and you're like, I really do not care about the exclusives on PlayStation, I certainly don't care about the exclusives over on Nintendo, or I already own a Nintendo Switch, I just wanted access to the Xbox exclusives, then yeah, you're fine. If you're someone who owns all three and you're like, I got the Xbox to play the Xbox games and I already have a PlayStation, then yeah, I might feel a little shortchanged. But again, we don't fully know what's gonna happen. But I wouldn't buy an Xbox right now. I'd wait. What a weird thing to happen. Odd, right? This very channel, the one that was the Xbox Go Get It, the Series S, because the Series S is the best. I like it even more now that it completely dismantled Xbox. Not because I want Xbox to fail, but because I love a good villain story. I love a good anti-hero. And can we be honest? The Series S is an anti-hero. They took something that was already great and they said, hey, Xbox Series X, the hero, we're gonna completely undermine you and offer some other alternative that's a little bit more edgy, all digital, you own nothing, you subscribe to everything, and it's gonna win. And it is winning. The Series S has been the most unique and my favorite console that I've seen explode. Certainly isn't my favorite to play, but man, do I love a good story. So thank you, Series S, for granting me access to all of these fun friends and for causing such controversy. All right. That's it for me today. My wife is going out of town again, so I am going to be incommunicado. And I'm almost done with Final Fantasy VII Remake. That game is incredible. And I'm going to play Crisis Core on my Steam Deck. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will see ya sometime. I already pre-recorded my next video, so that's going up again. But yeah, happy gaming to all of you. Keep getting after it.